Yo, what is poppin', my guys? It is your boy Ashley, and today we are bringing you our match against Davian, coach of the Las Vegas Galladers. Sorry, I keep getting distracted by how this isn't right. I'm gonna reset. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so Davian is the coach of the Las Vegas Galladers. He is a pretty cool guy. I like him a lot. He makes great live comms. I'm really not a huge fan of live comms, but he's so very expressive, and I really just enjoy watching his content. So I definitely suggest that you guys do the same. His link will be in the description below, as well as all the other links for the IBA coaches, who you should definitely check out. Even though some of them have not really been uploading that much, for the IBA at least, they all still do make great content, and I highly suggest. So last time I played Davian was actually in the IBL, where we won 4-0 with our Comfy, which was really nice. And I actually do have Comfy on this team, if you guys remember, but the matchup it had this week was not as good. Even though looking at what he brought, it actually could have put in a lot of work. So I do kind of wish that I had brought it, but oh well, who knows, we'll see. I do really feel very confident in the prep this week. Before we talk about the prep, I am going to go over his team very quickly. He does have Mega Venusaur, Victini, Rotom Wash, Crocodile, Goodra, Gardevoir, Hitmontop, Scizor, Noivern, Stantler, and Leavanny. So I will say that I am pretty happy to not see Victini, and I'm very excited to not see Mega Venusaur. Because both of those mons are kind of huge threats to my team, although I do have my designated counters, so I am going to go talk about those right now. First of all, we have Harden, the Aerodactyl. Now, this man has Pursuit, Wing Attack, Aqua Tail, and Stone Edge. So Pursuit, there's a lot of things on his team that are going to want to switch out of Aerodactyl because they cannot take the hit, especially if it is not intimidated, particularly the Leavanny and the and the Noivern, which I think it's really cool that he is NoivernNation and he drafted Noivern. I will never draft Spinda, I don't think. But this mon is really my key to winning. It's unfortunate that it doesn't really do as well against the team that he brought. It is physically offensive enough to break Goodra, but Goodra is going to have to be chipped down for me to feel comfortable staying in on it with Mega Aerodactyl, given the variety of super effective moves that Goodra does get in order to take on Aerodactyl. Rotom Wash is obviously a huge problem for Aerodactyl if it's physically defensive. Scizor can take on this set fairly well, and Crocodile is able to, I mean, we do have the Aqua Tail for Crook, but it has to be, I think, below half for us to take it out with the Intimidate if it is a bulky set, which I'm not gambling on because obviously Aerodactyl does a lot of work in this game. So we'll move on. Next up is JR Swish, our Hoopa, who is modest with Dark Pulse, Psychic, Focus Blast, and Trick Room. Now, I actually made a mistake here in my EV spread because originally this was a substitute set with 100 speed, but I actually opted to run Trick Room instead based on after a mock, talking to Halu. Shout out to Halu and the rest of my front office for helping me prep for this game. I did a mock with Halu, and he pretty much told me that Trick Room Hoopa could do a lot more work in this matchup, seeing as how speedy a lot of his mons are. And in the transition of doing, so after I had my first team, I did the mock, and then I went back and edited. Well, right before I played Noivern, I noticed that it did not save any of my edits, so I very quickly had to come through and add some Pokemon and do stuff. Like, for example, the Aerodactyl had Roost instead of Pursuit, and there's some more stuff I'll talk about as we go down the list. But Hoopa was an unfortunate victim of the reset, because even though I did manage to change substitute to Trick Room, I totally forgot to make it min speed, 0 IV, whatever, because that would be the only way I can underspeed mons like Rotom and Goodra. So, and that's actually not something I realized until further in the game, but we'll get there. Next up, we have our Gliscor, which is Discord Orb. This man is rocking Roost, Earthquake, U-Turn, and Stealth Rock. I really wanted U-Turn momentum in this game, especially since I would be coming in on Crocodile a lot and maybe forcing the switch out of there. And that's really all there is to this set. I do have Earthquake just to do some damage. I have Roost, and I have Stealth Rock just because I would really like rocks up in this game. Mons like Rotom getting worn down by rocks is really good. Threatening mons like Noivern with rocks are really good because Noivern outspeeds everything on my team, and with the right coverage or item, he could really kind of do a fair bit of work. with that Noivern, so I was definitely pretty scared of that. Next up, we have our Tentacruel, aka Wakanda Water, and that is rocking Rapid Spin, Ice Beam, Sludge Wave, and Scald. So as you can see, that little offensive spread hits pretty much everything but Scizor, and the Rapid Spin is going to allow me to keep rocks up while keeping off of the field his rocks, because there's a lot of things on his team that I could spin on, I think. I guess not a lot of things, actually. He ended up bringing really good prep for the Pokemon that I brought. It seems like I prepped a lot for the mons that he did not bring. This Tentacruel is actually rocking the Liquid Ooze with Black Sludge to keep its longevity up, but the Liquid Ooze is actually really nice for the Venusaur in case if it Giga Drains, I'll be recovering health and he'll be losing health, and if he Leech Seeds, I'll be gaining back health every turn instead of losing health. So this thing was really a main counter to the Venusaur, and as you can tell, he did not bring it. So that is a little unfortunate, but we live and we learn. So next up is Babe the Infernape. This is a mixed set with Firium Z, rocking Vacuum Wave, Close Combat, Overheat, and Earthquake. So I'm rocking the Close Combat because it does a lot more to mons like Goodra and Scizor, even though I have a sorry, I have Overheat for Scizor. Firium Z Overheat was for Mega Venusaur because it does more damage than Flare Blitz does. And yeah, I have Vacuum Wave because Crocodile is obviously a thing. Even if it intimidates me and lives one close combat, even if he's Scarf, I don't mind because I can just stay in a hit Vacuum Wave and take it out from around 40 to 30%, which I can easily do even after intimidated with the close combat. So finally, as you can see here, we have Swampert. So I don't remember what I nicknamed this Swampert because this was one of the mons I had to change. Originally here I had Whimsicott with Tailwind, Defog, Moonblast, and Memento, which actually looking at his team, replacing Memento with a water type or the grass type move actually would have put in a lot of work versus his team. It really having the Tailwind up would have been really nice for some of my slower mons to take on stuff like Noivern, as well as having Sticky Webs up, but instead I ended up bringing Swampert with Stealth Rocks. I went double Stealth Rocks this week because I felt like Stealth Rocks were really important for wearing down his team. He does have a lot of mons that I don't have direct answers to, as you guys can tell just by looking at the team prep. Things like Goodra and Noivern and even Scizor outside of Infernape, I don't really have a whole lot of super solid answers for. So this Swampert set, it's max defense pretty much, kind of serves to work around those. It's got Stealth Rocks, Scald to try and get those juicy burns. It's got Toxic, and it has Roar. So without further ado, I think we are just going to hop in. I feel like I've talked about the team enough, and we are going to go ahead and play. So he is going to lead off with the Noivern, as I lead off with my Aerodactyl. Aerodactyl really leads off well against everything he wants to go for, and I'm just going to fire off the Stone Edge because if he is Scarf, there's not even really anything he can do to me, and that is actually going to crit the Rotom Wash, which really sucks because it would not have been a 2-hit KO if I had not crit. He was pretty much max defense, as I could tell from the calcs, and I knew another Stone Edge would take him out. 100% another Stone Edge would take him out, but I did not want to risk missing the Stone Edge and getting either burnt or hit with a fat Hydro Pump. So I decided to make the safe play and just go into my Swampert. I definitely could have taken out the Rotom there, but I did not want to gamble on a roll when I had a perfectly good Rotom check waiting in the wings. So here he's gonna get a little bit of leftovers recovery back, but I'm just gonna fire off the Stealth Rocks as he goes hard into Leavanny. So that's no problem for me because even if he throws up the Sticky Webs here, I'm fairly confident in Tentacruel's ability to Rapid Spin, and I'm going to go right into Mega Aerodactyl. So he is going to throw up the Sticky Web as I predicted, and I'm going to throw off the Wing Attack as he gets brought down to his Sash, and he is going to fire off a Leaf Blade and knock me down to 47%, so doing over half, and obviously I don't have leftovers or anything because I'm Mega Aerodactyl, and here I'm weighing my options. So I definitely outspeed, and the correct play here, which is, spoiler alert, the play I do not go for, was to hit Pursuit, because if he stays in, it definitely knocks out Leavanny, and if he switches, it knocks out Leavanny, and then once I get rid of these Sticky Webs, I don't have to worry about this Pokemon anymore. But unfortunately, I just go for the Wing Attack here, meaning he gets a very free switch into Crocodile, because that is, especially after the Intimidate, only going to do 30%, which is still a decent chunk, but not enough, especially since he has leftovers. So the correct play there would have been to either A, Pursuit, or B, to Aqua Tail, predicting him to switch into the Crocodile, because even though I would not have killed his Leavanny with the Pursuit, getting rid of this Crocodile would have been huge early game for my Mega Aerodactyl and for my Infernape both. So as well as my Hoopa, because just everything out of the way, anything, like, because with this thing I would have to hit Focus Blast, because I'm running Dark Pulse, Focus Blast, and what was the other one? Psychic. So the only thing that could hit this thing would be Focus Blast. So if I had Aqua Tailed there, I could easily 2-hit KO this thing, and that would have been really, really big for me. But unfortunately, that's not how it shakes out. I choose to go for the Wing Attack, which definitely was a misplay. I should have either Pursuited or Aqua Tailed here. But that's not too bad, because I can just switch right out here into my Gliscor. It walls pretty much anything this Crocodile wants to go for. As you're going to see, he just sets up the rocks. Now, I don't have Defog here, which is really unfortunate, but I do get my Toxic Orb activated, and I'm just going to hit U-turn, because even if he stays in and Ice Fangs, it's just going to get me, it's going to let me know that he's not choiced, and I can go out to something like Infernape and start laying down damage. But I'm just going to U-turn here right out into my Tentacruel, because I don't think there's anything this Goodra can do to take me out from this range, even a Thunderbolt, because I am Spadef, and I noticed that at -1 speed I'm still faster than this Goodra, but it does allow me to get off the big Rapid Spin, and he is going to reveal Earthquake. So that is no bueno. I cannot take 2 of those. I mean, it's a roll, but I don't want to risk it. So I just go right out here into Swampert, as he actually opts to go for the Ice Beam. So really good that I guess I didn't. I mean, I guess I could have stayed in there, but oh well, whatever. I'm going to switch right out into my Swampert, and I'm going to hit this Rotom with a Toxic. So there I probably should have roared, honestly, but I decided to do it on this turn. I did think about Defog for like 10 seconds, but I decided to roar instead, hoping to get the Leavanny, and I see that he defogs, I roar, and my wish comes true. But unfortunately, this thing can very easily take out my Swampert, and it does not die because the rocks are no longer up. So here I'm just going to switch in Tentacruel and basically sack it. I didn't think I was sacking it when I went Tentacruel, but that is what ended up happening. So that's not great, but it does give me a very free switch into Infernape. So I probably should have gone Aerodactyl there, but on the other hand, I am really glad I went into this and fired off the close combat, because that, through the crit, is going to do some decent damage to Noivern, and I am able to just switch right out into my Gliscor, because this thing can take pretty much any hit this wants to go for. As you can see, it even tanks that Devastating Drake. Unfortunately, it doesn't tank it well enough to mean that I can just, you know, live its hit. Kind of banking on the Hurricane miss or something like that. He doesn't miss, he hits. So now we are down 4-6. I'm going to go right here into my Mega Aerodactyl though and hit Pursuit, because I feel like he would want to save this. He does live very, very barely, but if I can get rocks up again, then we are in a great position. So here, I kind of expected him just to throw up rocks because my Rapid Spinner is gone, but instead he actually just stays in and goes for the knockoff, which really sucks, because here, so he got the crit there. If he had been Jolly, that would have mattered, but it turns out I talked to Noivern after the game, and he was adamant, so that crit didn't matter. It was a roll in his favor to knock me out. I'm not too mad about it. I really wish that I had played better with this Aerodactyl earlier, especially around the Leavanny and the play that I mentioned earlier, because it is unfortunate that I have now lost this thing. But thankfully, all the things that I really, really need this Aerodactyl for, being the Noivern, and I guess to some extent the Leavanny, can all be taken down if I can somehow manage to get rocks up again. And as I've shown so far, this Swampert does a really, really good job of getting rocks up against the team that he brought. So I'm not too worried about it. Here I am actually just going to go straight into Hoopa. No, I'm sorry, I go straight into Infernape here. And I'm just going to fire off the Vacuum Wave. I didn't want to risk anything. I just decided, fuck it, I'll go for Vacuum Wave. And he's going to go right here into Goodra. So, not bad. I'm going to go right here into Swampert. Tank that really, really easily. It only does 16%. You would think I got Flame Body or whatever. Not Flame Body, but Marvel Scale or something. Didn't do any damage at all. As he is going to go right back out into the Rotom as I get up my Stealth Rocks. So, here, I probably... Okay, sorry, I'm going to pause here. So, here, I probably could have just spammed Stealth Rocks to keep rocks up and let this Rotom die to Toxic, but I really, really wanted to preserve the health on this Swampert, because Even at 48%, it can still tank hits from the Goodra. It can still tank hits from the Scizor. The Rotom cannot do anything to it. It can't live up to the Leavanny, and there's a possibility that Noivern can knock it out because we are physically defensive instead of specially defensive. But I really felt like keeping the Swampert around was the smarter play. I didn't think he would Will-O-Wisp here or anything like that. So I figured if I hard switch into my Hoopa here, he will go for the Defog. The next turn, anticipating that I'm physical Hoopa, because that would make a lot of sense for things like Ice Punch or Fire Punch and stuff like that, he would just go for the Will-O-Wisp, and I would be able to hit up the Trick Room, underspeed everything, and blow through this team, dent this team really hard, and then win the game with Infernape. So that was really the game plan. Unfortunately, as I've already talked about in my team prep, I still have a fairly decent bit of speed. I have 100 speed EVs in this Hoopa. So everything goes the way that I planned, but because of that extra speed investment, I am actually undersped by Rotom and Goodra in Trick Room. So he does get off the burn here as I anticipated. Had I been able to underspeed him here, I would be able to fire off the Dark Pulse and knock him out without taking that 34% from the Hydro Pump, and I would be sitting at around 90% right now. So as you're going to see, he is going to go into Goodra, which is min speed. Literally the only way I'd be able to outspeed this is with a negative nature, which I did have originally, to be fair. And here I do misplay a little bit. I definitely should have gone for Psychic, because even if I got a crit with the Psychic, it would have knocked out this Goodra. But as you can see, he actually gets a critical hit on me and makes it to where I am not 2-hit KO, or I'm 2-hit KO'd by Ice Beam or something similar. So it didn't really matter too much in the long run. Had he not gotten the crit there, I definitely could have done a lot more damage to this Goodra with the Psychic and been able to 2-hit KO, because I am Mind Plate on this Hoopa. But because he does get the crit there, and because I am not min speed, he is going to be able to outspeed me. So it's really, really unfortunate, because had I been min speed, I would have just outright taken out the Rotom and the Goodra here, no problems, and would have still had, I think, one turn of Trick Room to take out something like the Noivern, the Leavanny, which I assume he would probably sack Leavanny, or the Scizor. So really, really unfortunate that he is going to be able to just go for the Earthquake here and knock us out. There is still one turn of Trick Room, so I don't want to go into my Infernape just yet. So I go into the Swampert and actually get up the Stealth Rock. So in case he's running Energy Ball or something like that, I am able just to get the Stealth Rocks up under Trick Room and not have to worry about it, as he is going to fire off the Ice Beam and follow it with an Earthquake. For some reason, I guess maybe expecting me to go into Infernape, but really I was just trying to get the Scald, because with the Scald and the Burn, he actually would have been in range of Earthquake. But unfortunately, we don't get the burn, so I am kind of forced to close combat here. So pretty much the whole game is on the back of Infernape right now, as I am just going to go for the close combat and knock this thing out. It's really unfortunate that we couldn't use Earthquake, because now we are -1 speed as well as -1 defense and special defense. But as long as we can live a attack that is, like, if he had a superpower or something, that'd have been really bad. But as you can see, he just hits us with the Bullet Punch, as we're going to fire off the Inferno Overdrive, which is able to knock him out through the berry, thankfully. I'm really, really glad I still had the Z move there and was able to knock him out with the berry, as he is just going to switch into Noivern, die to rocks, and switch into Leavanny and die to rocks. So even if I didn't get rocks up there, I was able to Vacuum Wave sweep through the rest of his team with Infernape. But Swampert got himself some kills this week by just getting those rocks up late game, which was really, really clutch. Shout out to Davian. I cannot wait to watch your side of the battle. As I said, I really, really enjoy his content. Really unfortunate about some things, like the crit on the Rotom. Really, really sucked. But this was a game that, even though it was a 1-0, I felt very, very comfortable in this game playing, and I felt like I had good win cons and good prep overall. Huge shout out to my front office again for hooking me up with the great team prep this week. It's really, really nice to grab a win after a while. I've been in a bit of a drought lately, and this is actually going to bring us up to 4-5. So now all we have left is divisional rounds, and we play Ben, who we have actually beaten already, and hopefully we can beat again, which will bring us to 5-5. We have what's his name, Deneki, who 6-0'd us last time. Really just trying not to get 6-0'd next time. He's a fantastic battler, and I'm really, really nervous about our rematch, because he didn't even bring all of the win. Like he has win cons on his team that just absolutely destroy everything I have, and he didn't even bring them. So he definitely, I think, has the advantage over me in this rematch. And then we play Eric, who is another really good battler, but I actually did beat in week 3. So hopefully, maybe with the right prep and with the right practice, we can beat him again. And that would actually put us, even if losing to Neki, would put us at 6-6, which is our goal for this season, to make it out even, which would be really nice. I mean, obviously, ideally, if we went 7 and 5, that would be really nice too, because I think we would actually clinch playoffs, seeing as that we would have only lost once in our division. Even though Janeki did 6 Omi, I think there's a possibility that if he loses other divisional matches and things like that, that I could actually go ahead and snag a playoff spot, which would be really nice. But anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe if you did. Again, huge shout out to Noivern. Definitely go check him out. He's a great content creator, and I do always like battling him a lot. I feel like a lot of our we've only had 2 games so far, and they've both been really close the whole time. So really happy to have taken a win here, especially since he was actually 7-1 before this week. So he was like, he's pretty much a playoff lock in his division. He's really playing well. So it feels good to have won a game against a player who is playing very well with his team. That's something that I'm not sure that we've really done a whole lot in our draft league career yet. So again, I'm rambling. We're at 21 minutes. I'm just gonna bounce. I will see you guys next time, and peace.